Vidit, I gotta let you know, somebody's hacked your account and is playing games on your Chess24 account. What are you going to do about it? You gotta protect yourself. Oh, no, it's totally fine. I have this very well covered. Like, my 64-core computer, like, confirms its complete equality. Yeah, well, your engine needs to be strong. Oh, no, it's completely fine. I have it all worked out. Like, Bishop pair is overrated. Like, computer confirms. Bishop pair, like, just don't have to worry about it. You give them the bishop pair. They think they're better. They overpress, and then they lose. It's true. You'll just look at my game. Illingworth Chess. Improve your chess with GM Max. What's up, guys? It's GM Max here, and our video is all about how to play the symmetrical English. Now, c4, c5. Average person's going to think, oh, this is symmetrical, so boring. He's trying to make a grandmaster draw again. No, not at all. Symmetrical English, really fun, really exciting. Let's see the game and prove yourselves. We have Peter Heine Nielsen, lead second head coach of Magnus Carlsen, playing against Vidit. Let's see if the Carlsen team can bring something special to the scene. We have Bishop G2, Bishop G7, Knight C3, Knight C6. Oh, one thing I should point out, by the way, is they don't have to go for the kingside fianchetto with Bishop G2. They can try to play a more modern kind of chess, Knight to F3. And if they go Knight F3, you can still go for the same kind of setup, Knight to C6, and, if Knight to C3, you can still play the move G6. Or it doesn't work quite as well in this version, when I can still go E3. And go D4, like, it is true that after Knight F6, D4, like, white does still get a little bit of an advantage in this kind of quasi-Grunfeld business, like CD5, Queen B3, and white does get a bit of an initiative here. So in that case, something a little bit more reliable for black by comparison is to play the move Knight to F6 instead and go for a more central strategy. If they go E3, now you can go E6 and, well, you can kind of hit back in the center, and guess what? We got another symmetrical position. How great is that? Because white is actually in Zugzwang light in this position. The thing about Zugzwang light is that whatever move they play, it gives us some extra information. It's like, you're the sort of next person, like, they're the one making the bets first on the poker table. They make their bet, you get the information, and you use it to your advantage to take them down. So it sort of works like that in chess as well. One less tempo, more information, still equal. Well, what if they play a move like G3 instead? Well, hey, you just gave us some information. You want a fianchetto? You think that fianchettoing is what the cool boys do? Well, let me hit you with something central, D5. And if you go takes, bishop to G2. Oh, no. I'm not falling for the cheapo. I'm not falling for your E5 and your knight takes E5, grabbing a pawn shenanigans. No, we're not beginners here. Like, who do you think we are? No, we're Grunfeld lovers. We play G6. We fianchetto that bishop whenever we can. We go D5 whenever we can. We castle. We get the attack. We have to look like Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. We get the glasses. We get the hair. We get the stubble. All of that to look like MVL. And then after that, we make sure to smash that like button in order to be able to actually play like MVL in a lot more of our games rather than just on the first few moves. In any case, let's get into what actually happened in the game. If they do play D4, by the way, just take. Put the bishop on B4 or queen on B6. There's a lot of theory, like, and why I can play a million moves here. It's a good subject for another video, at least, like how to meet C4 followed by D4. Flipping around the D4, C4 shenanigans. So white played G3, and yeah, we already covered this in the introduction. And now white has a cornucopia of options. But again, the problem is that whatever move he plays, he gives us extra information. So let's say if you put that pawn on E4, trying to play the Iron English Botvinnik, because Simon Williams told you to, and he said it was a forced win for white. I don't know if he said, I'm just guessing. But in that case, he gives you extra information. It means that, for example, you could go E6, put the knight on E7, kind of like we're going to see Vidit do in the main game. Or if you want to kind of do a little bit of a hustle, you can go A6 and go for some weird Benko-y stuff, like B5, sack the pawn, bishop A6, knight B4, win on D3. I mean, I don't know, I'm saying a million moves in a row for black, but you get the idea. Just play aggressively, make them bluff them into thinking that we're actually a lot stronger than we really are, so they resign too early. And if they do play something like A3, like what if they try to give us a taste of our own medicine? Well, there are a lot of good moves to black, but if you want to be a creative genius and start to appear against smarter than you really are, play the move B6, go for the double fianchetto, and make sure to subscribe so that you can play double fianchetto successfully and get those choo-choo snipers ready for your games, those bishops on the long diagonal. In any case, after knight C6, we have the move knight to F3. Black played the move D6. Now, you could play like Bobby Fischer going E6, knight E7, and d5 and b6. Like, this is a system that we're actually going to see black kind of go for in a game in a different version. He decided to play d6 first, opening up that diagonal for the bishop. Often in chess it's all about the bishops, and black decides not to play the modern trend of bishop f5 and queen d7 and try to trade off the bishop. You could do that and play this sort of fun kind of stuff creatively, but that's just not creative enough for Vidit. Vidit, one of the most talented, most promising players of the Indian generation. It's not enough just to follow the trend. The top players, they create their own trends. They're the trendsetters. They're the Elon Musks of chess. We have the move bishop to g4. And at first glance, I thought, like, what is this? Like, you give up your bishop pair, like, for real? Like, seriously? Like, what is this? You don't take your opponent seriously, or you're just so terrified of Magnus Carlsen's amazing world championship preparation, they're just going to play some rubbish move to avoid it. But no, this actually is a very reasonable idea, a lot better than it looks. You see, h3, I think, is the best move, because if you let black get queen d7, you've got bishop h3, you trade their bishop, and then you say that your sniper is better than their sniper. You can play some sift heads after that. So white plays h3 to avoid that. And okay, if you're going to play this, like, you may as well take the knight, because otherwise you're just giving white this move for free. So bishop f3, e6, and hey, look at this. This is the sheer depth of black's concept. He's realized that he wants to go e6, knight e7, but then the bishop would be kind of stuck behind his pawn, like, banging its head, like listening to some heavy metal. But instead, it turns out that the bell very well is actually tolling for white in this game. What I think white should have done is, he played this move bishop g2, and, like, bishop d2, like, it's so subtle, like, after it's gone completely over my head like this. Peter Heine Nielsen, 2600 graded grandmaster, like, I have no idea why he played that move. Like, it's so much smarter than I could ever possibly fathom. But if it was up to me, like, I would just play, like, very thematic, like, very simple chess. Like, I'd go for a3, and then go for, like, rook to b1 or something, try to get in the move b4. Like, me, just, like, very direct, but actually, we kind of see the idea that now, if white does play b4, black can now play this really incredible idea. Like, amazing I got this, like, a complete fluke. But you can play the move b6. And what is this b6? Like, just blundering material? Like, what are you, like, 1200? But actually, it's brilliant. Because after b5, knight a5, bishop a8, queen a8. Look at this. The pawn is under attack. The queen's got a beautiful long diagonal. And let's say you try to hang on to that pawn for dear life with queen a4. Now, here's where we can play an amazing positional idea. Aaron Nimzovich would be proud of giving up that dark squared bishop. Bishop takes c3, b takes c, d takes c3, and now queen e4, hitting e4, hitting e2, leaving with this stupid useless bishop that does nothing even on h6. And believe it or not, black's actually better, because these rooks are just complete dodos. I mean, if you play, I don't know, bishop h6, rook to e8 or whatever. I mean, once you get that knight to c4, I mean, how is your rook going to attack it? Why, like, what you got? You got nothing. You just have these useless rooks that are just waiting to be put back in the box. So yeah, that sort of shows that even my simple-minded plan would still be okay for black. But yeah, after bishop to g2, we had knight g7. I did this weird double fianchetto with b3. Not sure why I didn't go for the rook b1, a3, b4 plan, because that's what you're supposed to do in English opening. If black gives you an inch, you better take a mile, because in English, it's all about getting that very subtle, small strategic advantage, like grabbing space, weakening the opponent's structure, not playing random double fianchettos, closing your eyes, saying, oh, when can I open my eyes? Let me know when you have a threat. I just want to play at my solid positional chess, just slowly improve position, like never attack. The chess is not a game for peacemakers. If you want to be a peacemaker, try to play Risk or something. So after b3, we had castles, bishop b2. Oh, and I like this next move by black. There are a lot of good moves for black. I mean, you could play rook c8, could play queen d7. But no, I like this move. That shows that Vidit's been eating a lot of red meat lately. He played this move d5, hitting back in the center. And after this, white could play cd5, get the central majority. But black's got the space. He's got the fianchettoed bishop. He can go b3, takes d4, and shut out that b2 bishop. Blow up the guy in prison and throw away the key. Then black would be doing very well here. Although I guess white could go knight a4, and he can try to trade the bishop pair, and I don't know why would trade off his own bishop pair, but apparently it's okay for white. But instead we had to move d3, and d3, you're giving him what he wants. You're giving black everything. You see, the bishop pair are not that great when the position locks up, and that's a big hint as to the move that black could have played here. You see, Vidit could have played the move of d4, and yeah, I know we're going to say, like, yeah, it's Blitzmax, like, stop being so harsh on these GMs. Just they didn't play the first line of the engine. It doesn't mean that they are complete beginners who should retire from playing for the rest of their lives. No, because I'm joking with you guys. But okay, after d4, there aren't a lot of good spots for the knight. Like, if you go knight e4, I go b6, and yeah, I got a nice pawn chain just to kill the bishop. I'm going to kick you away with f5. I'm going to kill your b4 counterplay of a5. And black's going to push the pawns all around the board like a Zerg rush until white proves to be just eating bailings. In any case, if you go knight a4, you go b6 again. And I mean, what's your knight doing on the edge of the board? I mean, I don't know why you would put the knight on the edge, like, unless the horse has been naughty. You know, maybe try to, like, you know, whack its rider or something. I don't know. So this is punishment. But anyway, the game instead saw the move of not d4 and not the engine suggested knight a4 here. But he played queen d7, saying, I'm just going to develop, complete my development, connect the rooks in the center, and, you know, do all the classical things that my classical chess teacher, like William Stein, has taught me. So white played a move queen d2. Now, when you have the bishop pair, keep this in mind. This is really, really important when you have the bishop pair. When you have the bishop pair, make sure to hit the subscribe button and make sure that you learn how to master the bishop pair advantage and any other type of positional advantage you'll get in your games. Okay, but actually the real thing you want to do with the bishop pair as well as subscribing, is to open up the position. So why not trade the pawns and then go e4 and just try to unbalance that structure? You know, if that takes d takes e4, we go takes. We got the central majority. We can try to trade off the queens because that makes our bishop pair better. You can go f4, e5 to sharp the bishop. I mean, yeah, it's true. You've got this d4 hole. I mean, your holes are not always so nice unless you're watching the movie holes. But, you know, I think in general the bishop pair makes up for this one square that black has. A square does not make a checkmate after all. But instead, now have played slowly with the move queen to d2. Still giving a chance for d4, but Vidit says, oh, I'll just defend b6. So that when you do play your knight e4 or knight a4, I've already defended the pawn in advance. Ooh, prophylaxis, I'm such a genius. White played a move rook to ac1. And yeah, I mean, what's the point of rook c? Like, you're just begging for black to go d4, like what you've managed to somehow become like a, you know, clairvoyant, like you're a mind reader now. You know that your opponent's never going to play d4 in his whole life because he has some sort of allergy, some unpleasant childhood experience where he played d4, got beaten with a stick. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just speculating here. I'm not the guy who's like the clairvoyant. I asked a clairvoyant about this. So you could play d4, you know, play knight e4, f5, and I mean, the knight only has the g5 square to go to. In fact, could even play the move h6, and then you don't even have g5, and, you know, like white has just got no space. I mean, like, why would you put yourself in such a cramped room? Like, this is not the, you know, this is not like the tiny sauna, you know, like, you've got the space here. But okay, after rook a to c8, I don't know why you'd put the rook on this file. I mean, do you really think this file is going to open? Really? I guess it could potentially, but kind of not so easy. So rook fd1, rook fd8, and he says, okay, if you can play random good-looking moves that developer don't do that much, I can do the same as well. But black is ultimately a lot better. White's left it a little bit too late to open the position with cd5 and e4. You could still do it and admit your mistake, but it's a very hard thing to do to admit that you're wrong about something, unless, of course, like you, Magnus Carlsen, and you sort of admit that you're wrong even when you're not wrong, because that's just how much of a boss you are at chess. But in any case, the game saw knight to a4. And yeah, finally, you did it, Vidit. I thought you were never going to play this move. I'd given up. I'd lost all hope. But no. You played d4. Good boy, good boy. You've stopped up the bishop. Stopped the bishop there. You've killed the knight. You killed... I mean, even this bishop, like, just hitting, like, nothing at the moment. Like, it's just a ghost going, ooh, I'm so scary. I have all the mobility. But you hit nothing. You're useless. I'm not afraid of you. So black is just much better. White played a3, trying to get some b4. Black went queen to d6 to stop b4, which I think was the best move, actually. I mean, even if they do get in b4, like, who really cares? I mean, if f5, if they go b4, you just play knight e5 and make that knight look even stupider than it was beforehand. You could just go g5, hack the king, and somehow win. In any case, since white is effectively down a piece, it means there are a lot of good moves, and even queen d6 is not so bad. Now, white decided, you know what, I'm going to play b4. Like, I hate my position so much. Disgusting bishop, disgusting knight, disgusting everything. You know, I'm not going to play slow rook b1 and, you know, put myself through the humbling experience of undeveloping my bishop to get in a meager b4 break. No, I can't do this. Instead, he played a move b4, sacking a pawn. And what's the idea of the pawn sack? I don't know what the idea is. I mean, takes, you're going c5 or something. I'm kind of puzzled. But after c5, you can still play like queen to e5 maybe, or even queen b8. I want to keep that pawn defended. But then he can take it. Yeah, it's not so easy actually. Not so easy. Because if a b6, you go a takes b4, and you know, b5, you're giving him a c5 square for the knight. I mean, how is this knight, like, not dead yet? I mean, I thought this knight was going to be put on trial and lynched or something for, you know, being a naughty boy, for just staying on the edge of the board, but apparently not. These GMs know something that I don't. I want to be invited to the clubhouse party. Why wasn't I invited? And learn about all of these new principles. So instead he plays the move h5, and wow, Nielsen's back in the game. He's back in the hunt. He could have played the move of rook to b1 here, gone for that cb5, bc5, got that rook to hit the pawn, and something that, you know, pawn on c5 is a little bit of a weakness. It's not so simple for black to attack. I mean, I don't know why he played h5 personally. I mean, I think it's just, you know, the reason you play h5 is because, you know, you hear that AlphaZero likes to push its rooks, pawns in random positions. I think if you do the same, that you're also going to become like a machine and the people will be afraid of you. Doesn't always work like that though. Like, I'm not afraid of these rooks pawn movers. You know, they can play it on move 1 if they wanted to do it that early. Well, instead we had to move h4 and... really? The move's making me sick. The reason problem with h4 is that you're giving this beautiful juicer on f5. I mean, you can't kick it away with g4 anymore because you played this dumb h4 move. Not only that, but now this knight can come to g4. You can just pile up on those dark squares. I mean, you have one less piece to defend on the dark squares white than black does. So you're in a losing battle here. Like, you can't bluff. Like, you can't just throw all in like in poker and just hope that they fold. Like, chess doesn't work like that unless you're playing choker. But I guess white did the choker in this game, really. So white played a move rook to b1. We had bishop to h6. Can't feel bad, like, sort of trash talking Peter Hein Nielsen. He's actually like a super nice guy, like one of the nicest GMs in chess. So like, I'm just doing it for like entertainment. Like, the crowd, they beg me. Like, if I don't entertain them, like, they're going to, like, you know, lynch me for being boring, and I don't want to die for being boring. Like, that's the worst way to die. So we had the move queen e1. Oh, knight e5. That's a nice move here. Trying to bring that knight to that g4 semi-outpost. What makes it a semi-outpost is if they were to go f3, you'd get that e3 square for the knight, and that's a real outpost. Like, you thought that was an outpost, this is an outpost, to quote Crocodile Dundee. So after bishop to c1, you know, he's finally trying to trade off the bad bishop. Black obliges, because that bishop was, you know, just a little ghost anyway. Takes. Well, when he played rook c7, just trying to keep control over the position. So to bc5, that, you know... Actually, the move looked like complete genius in the game. Because white chose to play queen a5 and make rook 7. Like, just look absolutely brilliant. But, you know, you didn't have to play rook c7. You could have just gone all out like g5, just said... You know, it looks like I'm rage quitting, but actually after hg5, I'm going to go h4. And just rip open that king on the light squares, on the dark squares rather. Because, I mean, look at this. These pieces are doing nothing for the defense. If gh4, you go knight g4. And yeah, how are you stopping queen h2? How are you stopping it? Queen and knight, they're a good attacking combination. But when you got the queen and two knights, oh yeah, that's the nuts, baby. That's the nuts. We got the nuts in this position. Well, instead we had the move rook c7. You know, Vidit wanted to win the slow way. Can't really blame him for it. I mean, winning slowly, still you win the point. I mean, it's not like in chess you get bonus points for playing like a computer or, you know, bleeding the opponent in just 20 moves like a boss with black. So we had the move knight g4. Really great move. Now we're eyeing up that knight f2 sack. Going queen g3, knight e3. And again, the queen and knight combined to lead to checkmate. So white moves back queen e1 trying to defend. Oh, principal of two weaknesses here. He's not out now that white's been deflected over to this side of the board. He goes, bam! Your queen side's weak as well. What you going to do about that, big boy? So we had the move queen to d1 trying to defend. I mean, knight b2 maybe is the best move, but you are giving black a yum-yum on a3. And often, like, if you're a player as strong as Vidit, or actually if you're a player as strong as Nielsen as well, a extra pawn is going to be enough to win the game. But after queen d1, yeah, now there's some juicy tactics. And remember, Vidit, like, he solved like millions and millions of puzzles on chess tempo. So this tactic you saw in 0.01 seconds. Can you find it as well? Do make sure to pause the video. Comment below with the move that you would play in this position if you were in Vidit's shoes. You can spend as long as you want, but I know that you want to see how the game ended. So let's get straight to it. This was the move, knight fe3. Now, I mean, you've got to smash the like button for a move like that, right? So after f takes e3, knight e3, the point of this is that after the move queen b3, desperately trying to cling onto that knight for dear life. It's like, my horse, my kingdom for a horse. Well, that's exactly what happened, because black played queen d6, decisive switcheroo right there, hitting queen g3, going for the mate on g2, and after king to f2, Vidit finished the game off with knight g4, and Nielsen's found his best move in this position, which was to resign. Why? Because if you go king to f3, I go queen e5, and you have no defense to queen e3 checkmate, except resigning. Oh, by the way, dimensional queen f5 is checkmate as well, getting hit at every angle here. if you try to bring the king back to g1, I take g3, and look at this. I can take some yum-yums with check. I can bring some more piece attack like knight e3. You know, again, white's best move is to resign here. And finally, if you go king e1, then you just go queen g3. Ooh, we got a fork. King f1 runs into queen f2 mate. And if you run this way, then yeah, you take the bishop and black's up a million pawns, so that's the end of the game. So yeah, that's how to play c4, c5, like top Indian Grandmaster Vidit. You know, super talented player. We saw that talent in action in this game. He made Nielsen look like a weak player, even though Nielsen, remember, is the coach of GM Magnus Carlsen, the head coach. And in this game, well, Vidit was able to avoid the super Grandmaster preparation. And by watching this video, you're now also ready for your opponents, whether you are playing against, you know, the Magnus bot or playing against some carbon-based players. You're now ready to deal that English opening, play c5, and Bob's your uncle. So do make sure to subscribe to Illingworth Chess to get my 2 Grandmaster chess lessons a day. To make sure I don't miss it, hit that notification bell after hitting that red subscribe button. That'll make sure you're going to get like all of my content, and it's just going to be like feed, because we got to feed the machine, guys. We got to feed the machine. Comment below with what you loved about this video, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Good luck playing the Symmetrical English.